You are a problem. And I need you to sit with that for a second, because this message isn't for everyone. You will know if it's for you. When I say you are a problem, I don't mean you're a troublemaker or someone who causes drama for the sake of it. That's not at all. You are a problem to a very specific group of people. You are the person they cannot figure out. You are the person who walks into a room and makes them feel unsettled. I want to say unsettled, yeah. Not because you are arrogant or loud, but because your very existence, your energy, your trajectory, it's a mirror they don't want to look into. They see you as the final boss they have to defeat, the competition they cannot seem to get ahead of. And it's driving them insane. Yeah, the thing is, you are not operating off their formula. You are not copying their blueprint, because you cannot. You are the blueprint. You are the one they are trying to reverse engineer, trying to understand, trying to find the cheat code for. But there is no cheat code for what you are doing. You are not playing the same game. You move when something deeper tells you to move. You are not swayed by tides of opinion. You are not rushing to be part of the crowd. You are an anomaly. You are unpredictable. You are spontaneous in ways that leave people completely baffled, yeah. And you move in complete silence. You don't let anyone know what you're up to. Maybe one person, maybe, yeah. The one who's proven they're worthy of your trust. But for the most part, you operate in a shroud of mystery. People know you're working on something. They feel the energy of you building, of you ascending, but they have no idea what it is or how you're doing it. And that terrifies them, because you are forcing them to look within. Your daily discipline, your relentless focus, your refusal to settle, it's a spotlight on their own stagnation. They see you showing up for yourself day in and day out, and it makes them feel terrible about their own lack of action. You're walking, breathing, call to level up, and most people are not ready for that call. They prefer the comfort of mediocrity. And you are a reminder that mediocrity is a choice. They feel judged, not by you, but by their own reflection in your success. You're a problem because you're hyper-focused. You're self-driven and divinely led, which makes you impossible to predict. You are moving in your own purpose, and when you're in that flow, it's like the rest of the world fades into background noise. You're not looking around, surveilling the landscape, trying to figure out what the next person is doing. You are not following anyone. You only follow that inner voice, that deep-seated knowing that pulls you forward. And you comply even with it without hesitation. You move with purpose, and that makes you dangerous to the status quo. You set the bar so high that most people, just by watching you, realize they have never even tried to reach for it. And this is why they came for you. This is where the story gets real. Because when a group of people sees a force like you, an unstoppable, undeniable energy that makes them feel small, they don't try to understand it. They don't try to become better. No, they try to destroy it. Yeah. They try to drag you down to their level. And for a long time, they thought they had. This group, this collective of people who felt threatened by you, they decided to take you down the easiest way they knew how. They decided to build a story about you, a fabrication, a lie. You know what I'm talking about. You felt it, the rumors, the subtle shifts in how people looked at you, the exclusion from things you should have been a part of, the sideways glances, and the whispers that stopped when you walked into the room. You started to notice your reputation was being chipped away at piece by piece, and you couldn't understand why. You hadn't done anything. You hadn't wronged anyone. You were just existing. And that was enough, yeah. They spread lies about you, not because they had a valid grievance, but because they had no other value to give. Their only currency was gossip, yeah, and half-truths. They wanted to be seen as the source of information, the gatekeepers of the social narrative. They built their own status on the ruins of yours. They took everything they heard from your enemies, their jealousy, their bitterness, their baseless accusations, and they repeated them as they were facts. They never checked in with you. They never asked for your side of the story. They were loyal, to a pack of people who were threatened by you. And they gave that loyalty unconditionally without ever stopping to realize what they were doing to you. They helped your enemies drag your name through the mud. And for a while it worked. You felt it, didn't you? There was a time when you questioned yourself, a time when the weight of their narrative was so heavy, you started to wonder if maybe there was some truth to it. Maybe you were the problem. Maybe you were too intense, too driven, too much. Maybe you deserved to be isolated. That's what they wanted. They wanted to break you down so much that you would doubt everything you were, everything you believed in, everything you were working toward. They wanted to extinguish your light. They wanted to make you small. Yeah. But here is what they didn't understand. Here is the part of the story that they never saw coming. The universe, our beautiful universe, has a way of balancing things out. It has a way of protecting the truth and rewarding those who walk in it. The story they built was a house of cards, and the wind of divine justice was about to come through. They thought they were untouchable. They thought they could keep doing what they were doing, exploding your name, benefiting from your downfall, and you would never find out. Or that if you did, you would not be able to do anything about it. They got comfortable. So comfortable that they got sloppy. Yeah, so comfortable that their own arrogance became the very tool that would bring them down. And then it happened. Yeah. The thing they never expected. Their lies backfired completely. Suddenly, the things they worked for decades, for years, for however long they had been building their little empire of gossip and manipulation. Yeah, everything were ripped away from them. They have built their status, their security, their material possessions, their influence, all on a foundation of lies. And when the foundation cracked, the whole thing collapsed. It all crumbled. Everything they had, everything they were, everything they represented, it was leveled in an instant. Proof gone. Yeah, just like that. A beautiful, terrifying, and absolutely necessary takedown. Now, the group is in total disarray. Yeah, everyone is in survival mode. They are desperate, scrambling, trying desperately to recoup their losses. They are grieving, but what they are grieving isn't their relationship with you. It's their money, their status, their belongings, their sense of superiority. All of it ripped away. And for some of them, it's too late, yeah. Their youthful years are gone. They wasted their prime on gossip and scheming lies. They were so focused on tearing you down that they forgot to build everything for themselves. And now they find themselves stuck in a stagnant fight or flight mode. They are hollow, they are shells of the people they thought they were. They are stuck, grieving the material possessions and status that defined them: money, houses, cars, social standings, etc. Their identity was so tied to what they had and who they knew that without it they have nothing. They are a cautionary tale, but you are different. You are still standing, you are still moving forward, you are still building, and that is your ultimate victory. Think about it. The lies they told about you, they were a shadow. They were designed to obscure you, the light, actually. But shadows, by their nature, require a light source. They only had a shadow to cast because you were casting a light so bright, it threatened them. They couldn't extinguish your light, so they tried to convince you to hide it. But you didn't. You kept moving, you kept working, you kept believing in what you were doing. You didn't let their narrative stop you. You kept your head down and kept building your path. And because of that, because you had the fortitude to not let their lies define you, you remained in your light. They, on the other hand, were stuck in the shadow they created. They were so busy trying to cover your light that they couldn't see the cliff they were about to walk off. They were so focused on you, they forgot to focus on themselves, and the universe had to remind them. This is the part of the story that makes me say, you are a problem. Because you didn't just survive their attack. You made it a part of your story. You internalized it. and turned it into fuel. You didn't just take it, you used it. Their attack was a gift you didn't know you needed. It cleared the path for you. It removed the obstacles. It showed you who was really on your side and who was just pretending. And it made you stronger, sharper, more determined. It stripped you of the need for their approval. You are not just free of them. You are a completely new person, a person forged in the fire of their betrayal, a person who is more powerful, more certain, and more unstoppable than ever before. But let's not just talk about them. I want to talk about the version of you that had to go through that. I want to talk about the moment when the world felt quiet and cold, when the trust was broken, when the whispers were so loud in your own head, they sounded like a shout. I want to talk about that version of you. Maybe it was a Sunday morning. You were lying there, and for 30 seconds, before your mind turned on completely, you felt something underneath everything. A pull. And my beloved appetite for something that felt good. Yeah. Appetite. A version of yourself that hadn't been quieted yet. Then you remembered the latest lie. The newest rumor. All right, I'm that person. And something closed inside you. You watched it go like a door shutting quietly in your own mind. Here is what you didn't tell anyone. You missed it immediately. Not the wanting of things to be different, but the version of you brave enough to have an appetite for a life that wasn't defined by their opinion. That version didn't ask permission, didn't calculate the cost of their judgment. That version just existed with its desires, and somehow that made sense. You still feel that ghost sometimes. Yeah, in the shower, in the car alone, when someone says something funny and you realize you had something funnier waiting. That moment when you see the setup and your mind immediately sees the angle, but instead you smile at their joke and make space for their moment. And you know, even though you will not admit it, that you are becoming invisible to yourself. The strangest part, you are not sure anymore when the walls went up. You are not sure if you built them to protect yourself from their attacks, or if the attacks built them around you so slowly that you stop noticing. But you feel their weight every day. I want to give you a concrete example, because you need to feel this, not just understand it. Think about a time. Yeah, a time you were in a group of people. Maybe it was a work meeting or just a social gathering. You had something to contribute, something insightful, something funny, something that could have shifted the entire energy of the room. You could see it already. The setup, the timing, the angle that nobody else was going to see. Your body knew it. You could feel where the comment wanted to land. You could almost hear how the energy would shift when you said it. The room would change shape. Then they would feel you, yeah. They would see you in a different way. You opened your mouth and you didn't. You didn't say it. Instead, you smiled. Yeah, I smiled. You made space for someone else's moment. You became the person who makes people feel good about their own stories. And that's where it gets strange. Because there is this part of you that knows exactly what you would have said. That part saw that setup immediately, saw the angle, saw the opportunity to be fully seen, but you didn't take it. You chose invisibility. You chose to protect yourself from the possibility of their response. You thought, if I stay invisible, they cannot hurt me again. So now, in every room, there is a version of you that stays quiet, a version that makes others feel better, because making yourself feel good feels dangerous. And you don't even realize anymore that this version is killing something in you, slowly, every single time, every single day. You're walking around feeling like a ghost, haunting your own life. Here's what I'm noticing. You can see the other person light up from your kindness. But your own light, that's been getting dimmer for so long that you are not sure if it's even still there. Think about all the moments you've erased yourself. When you're in a meeting and you see the problem that nobody else sees, you have the solution. It's clear to you. But you watch the room go in the wrong direction, and you don't speak. You tell yourself later that they would not have listened anyway. But actually, you're just protecting yourself from the chance that they might listen and then expect you to take up more space. Or that morning, when someone you care about says something unkind, and you feel the response forming, the thing you could say that would make them understand what they actually did, but instead you stay quiet. You become small, yeah. You make it okay to be treated that way. You become the person who absorbs it so they can feel comfortable being the person who did it. Or every family dinner where your accomplishment is mentioned and you immediately minimize it, you deflect it, you make a joke, you become the person who didn't actually achieve anything important. And they all relax because you've made it safe for them to not have to celebrate you. The cost of being seen is too high. So you've learned to not be seen at all. And the worst part, you're so good at it now that you don't even feel the initial impulse to speak. You feel it forming and you immediately squash it. You've automated your own erasure. You have built it into your nervous system. Here is what I need you to understand about that pattern. You didn't choose this because you are kind. No. You chose this because being fully visible felt like it came with a price that was paid in your safety. Someone showed you, with their words usually, their tone, their actions, that your existence was inconvenient. And you made a deal with yourself, you make yourself smaller so they could feel bigger. And you are still paying that price every single day. But here is something that changes things, everything actually. There is a metaphor I want you to sit with. Imagine your voice is like a light, a particular frequency of light that only you can emit. When you keep that light hidden, the world doesn't get to see what that light illuminates. But here's the part nobody talks about. You also cannot see yourself anymore. You are standing in your own darkness. The people in your life are not hungry for more brightness. They are already uncomfortable with yours. So you turned it off, and now you are living in a room where nobody's happy. But at least nobody's angry at you for existing. I'll say it gently. You traded visibility for safety. And you thought that was the deal. You didn't realize you were trading more than that. You were trading yourself. The metaphor of the light, let me deepen it for you. When your light is on, it doesn't just illuminate the room, it illuminates you too. You see yourself. You see what you're capable of. You see your own edges and your own possibilities. But when that light goes off, you don't just disappear from everyone else's view. You disappear from your own. You become invisible to yourself. And the cruelest part, that light doesn't go away. It just hides. It gets smaller and smaller. It goes from this bright thing to something you can barely feel anymore. A flicker. Yeah. Sometimes not even that. But it's still there. You can feel it sometimes late at night. That pull, that knowing that somewhere inside there is something that wants to exist. Something that wants to break through the walls that they built. Something that wants to shine again. Let me go back. That group that spreads lies about you. They were afraid of your light. They knew that if you fully embodied it, they would be left in the dark. They tried to dim you. And for a while they succeeded. You dimmed your own light to make them comfortable. But now they are gone. Their structure has been destroyed, and you are left with this faint flicker of yourself. Now it's time to feed that flicker, to turn it back into a flame, to make it an inferno. But let's get specific about what happens when that truth lands. Because it's not just about them getting what they deserve. No, it's about you stepping into what you deserve. For a while, you were in a fog, feeling stuck, like you knew something was wrong, but you had no proof. You kept it to yourself. Maybe you even started gathering little pieces without realizing it. Like a strange comment here, an inconsistency there, a gut feeling that wouldn't go away. All those little observations you've been collecting without even meaning to, almost like evidence, building itself in the back of your mind, are about to all come together at once. It's going to feel like all those puzzle pieces snapping into place in a single moment. The fog is lifting, the blindfold is coming off, and once it does, you are going to look back at all of those little moments, and they are going to click into place like puzzle pieces. You are going to see the whole picture for the first time. And it's going to be so clear. And when it comes, when the truth about what they did finally hits you, it's not going to be a small whisper or information. This is the kind of truth that changes everything. Yeah, there is no going back to pretending. Once you hear this, once you see this, once it's confirmed, you cannot unknown it. And I think deep down you already sense that. It's why you felt so heavy. Yeah. Your soul has been bracing for impact, because this is going to be the kind of revelation where you simply stop talking to them. You will not look back wondering if you made the right choice, because the truth itself will answer that question for you. This ending, painful as it is, is actually a doorway. It's a clean break, a complete severance, And on the other side of that, there is a version of your life that this group of people was unknowingly blocking just by being in it. Their presence, their energy, their constant scrutiny, it was an energetic anchor. They were a weight you were dragging around that was preventing you from flying. And now they're gone. You see, that group was so fixated on tearing you down that they forgot to build themselves up. Their ego was so attached to winning by making you lose, they never realized they were the ones actually losing. They were stuck in a reactive state. Their lives were all about you, about their lies about you, about their schemes against you. Their entire identity was the role of your antagonist. And when you stopped being the protagonist in their story, they had nothing. They became the beat players in their own lives. When their lies backfired, they were left with no plot, no purpose, no direction. It wasn't just their status that collapsed. It was their very reason for being. You, my beautiful soul, on the other hand, you were building the whole time. You were defining yourself by your own terms, not by theirs. You might have felt hurt, isolated and attacked, but you kept building. You had a core mission, a purpose that didn't depend on them, and that is the ultimate difference. They were defined by their opposition to you. You were defined by your own trajectory. This is what I call a universal course correction. Universal course correction. It's not about you being vindictive or wanting them to suffer. No, it's about the inherent nature of cause and effect. You cannot spend years building on a foundation of lies and deceit and expect the structure to hold. Eventually, the weight of the deception becomes too much, and the whole thing collapses under its own gravity. Their lies were their own destruction. They thought they were building something, but they were really just digging a hole for themselves. The energy they put out into the world, the negativity, the jealousy, the sabotage, it's boomeranged back to them with a force they were completely unprepared for. It whipped them out, and in that destruction, there is a profound lesson for you. It's a lesson in It's a lesson in trust. Not just trusting other people, but trusting the process, trusting that if you stay true to yourself, if you keep working hard, if you don't let the noise break your focus, the universe will handle the rest. It will make sure that justice is served. It will make sure that what you build cannot be torn down by petty people. It will make sure that your light, no matter how dimmed, can never be fully extinguished. But you have to step into that light. You have to own it. You have to stop dimming yourself to make the world a more comfortable place for people who do not even have their own lights on. You know what I'm talking about. I can feel you now. You know. I can feel that you know, yeah. There is this part of you that is ready to emerge. The one with opinions, the one with an appetite, the one who doesn't calculate the cost before she or he speaks. The one who takes up space like it's birthright. The version of you isn't new. It's not something you have to become. It's something you are remembering. Something that's been waiting in the quiet places while you were being invisible. Has been there all along, getting smaller and smaller, but never quite disappearing. And right now, not next year, not when you feel more confident, not when circumstances are perfect. Right now, you know what it would take. It would take one moment of choosing yourself. Just one, I promise. Not forever. Not against everyone else. Just you choosing you. And that's what I want you to do right now, at this very moment. I want you to feel what happens in your body when you imagine, just imagine what it would change. Yeah, if you finally could. Maybe the person who is becoming visible, because the person who is becoming visible, that's not someone broken, learning to be normal. That's you coming home to yourself. That's you remembering what a life feels like. And you are ready. You have always been ready. You just didn't know permission to be invisible was the same thing as permission to disappear. And now that you have seen the lies crumble and the group destroyed, now that you have witnessed the cost of their deception and the power of your own resilience, you are more than ready. You are prepared. You are the problem. The problem with their strategy, their plans, their limitations. You are the problem they never could solve, the wall they could never climb, the mountain they could never move. And now they are gone. And you are left in the light of your own incredible potential. So, what will happen if you stopped being invisible? What would actually change if you let yourself be seen? And before you answer that with all the reasons why you cannot, I want you to feel what happens in your body. Just notice in your body when you imagine what would change it if you finally could. Because the world is waiting for that version of you, the real you, the one that they tried so hard to bury, the one that is right now rising from the ashes of their destruction, the one that is a problem in the best possible way.